I say there's breaking news back from the camp of the New Patriotic Party. Kamia Kweye say a particular flag bearer have been disqualified. So let us break it. Let us break this whole news down. We are learning say when the New Patriotic Party opened nomination for people to file to be the flag bearer of the party, there was a clause, an attachment say Oji will follow nomination fee, which is like 500,000. They also afterwards pass it after you've gone through the vet and pass it on. An additional 4 million almost any development fee. I just already party through this trial or thick times. Now each candidate was supposed to pay 4 million. Now some people are struggling to actually pay that kind of money. And then one person as you see who has been struggling all this while to pay this kind of money, Kwabena Agyapong. So we are learning, say Kwabena Agyapong, based on his inability to pay ability to pay this particular 4 million. They are disqualifying him based on that particular grounds. There was what TSC say, and you don't want complaining about this. Obi said anymore, or say he dropped out of the race because of the 4 million Ghana cedis that they're charging to him. Money is so hard to come by. In fact, he used a certain phrase, "Sika MPDD." It's not going to say 4 million Ghana cedis on an election. So, you say, Adena ye kwa no candidate baako ene pese on win. Yenko tie insema omudi tudra in regards to with leaking the information as to why Kwabena Agyapong have been disqualified from this particular New Patriotic Party flag bearer race. Share video so.
Breaking story. Now there's an update of the breaking story, and the catcher will say Kwabena Agyapong are all preso be to Frank Adiama NPP or disqualify because a year 4.6 million development fee they wish for which mean tiaka. It's the vetting committee has recommended say yen disqualifying, and the National Council, the NEC, almost what jatum, and then they have communicated to him say they have given him 48 hours to mobilize the funds, so that is the only window of opportunity or work. After 48 hours expiration, it was for Kwabena Agyapong will not be on the ballot paper, and we had January 31. It's a pay former General Secretary of the NPP, Kwabena Agyapong, for our contested presidential candidate in Penny. But this time, Onya Sakuyan contested, basically because he was unable to pay the 4.6 million development fee. It's at disqualified. He has between and there any close of day tomorrow, 48 hours to mobilize the funds. Now, so to me, yes, a party paid for and the ding a sign back a year less than now 5 years can't want some gradually about than the 4. So the 4 are my film, Dr. Bawumia, Kennedy Agyapong, Brian Achampong, Dr. Brian Achampong, and Dr. Yao said the chum. But Kwabena Agyapong the which are for Mano Kasei you're disqualifying from the race until here's the caveat, until said obetimi mobilizes our 4.6 million development fee on Timmy and contested in this election. That is the information. We've been trying to reach him before the doom. But I don't pay you hearing it for the first time. Or a party we say you disqualify Kwabena Agyapong, former General Secretary of the NPP, not so to Franca.
Okay, so that is the news, Corso. Now, straight up to Chairman to me in the same New Patriotic Party, Menoka say, some former appointees and former party members, party say, what Mahama is doing, he's doing the right thing because they knew about the corruption and how Chairman to me was aiding these galamsey practices. And according to them, they are NPP people, but they want Chairman to me to be jailed. I am na make a video back to us.
Ya cry yan MPP for the cry ye call it Mahama. Obia o diska wo MPP na o diska kwa contract awanya no. So Mahama nche no a ye cry ye ni Mahama wo bika. Wanchi sa nipa no a nti no ochi akromfo no ende ye yi akromfo na Africa na wo. Wo ya akromfo na wo MPP ye yi wa firim. Wo wan di se ye yi wa firim. Nti se kwasara kwaji contract na se wanye na just security friend na o tia friend wan. O tia friend wan. Order the case kese no ono obi na dem woti ho say Mahama o ma power ne o ma ochana Mahama aba kotu no mun kotu no esa se wo abro nye wa jimiti utimi ntu ntumi utimi na futu papa biara Kenya Japan ekuma MPP mukofa ba se 10 cents of Kenya Japan na wo abro nye nna nkama ya san ya dem ponche kwa hayo na ka wo so wo ye nipa di odi party anim nti ba yalu su obi ye no ko so mfata wo ye nipa tena mfata asia.
So you could see, say, even Untumi's own party members, some of them are happy, basically based on all of these things are air course. So now, it's for you checking the charges, say they are bought Chema Untumi, and no be any idea two screens because Attorney General Minoka say or more are updating also charges against Untumi. Count 1, undertaking a mining operation without a license. Akunta Mining Company Limited is accused of operating a mining concession as Samra Boy in 2022 without a valid license from the minister, contrary to Section 99 Clause 2 of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, as amended by Act 995. So this is the first charges are yedebo Chema Untumi. Now not just that, count 2. No, so the count 2 is also another additional charge yedebo Chema Untumi. And what is the count 2 about? Or say count 2 undertaking a mining operation without a license. Chema Untumi and one Kwame Entry, currently at large, allegedly conducted mining operations as owners and directors of Akunta Mining Company Limited without tunnel and within the tunnel Nimere Forest Reserve without authorization. Blame Chema Untumi say Ganam say no koye no or ye wo forest mu enuntina or koye was a particular forest mu na oni license enuntiana say yakwachi. So that is one of the other charge ye dia bono yen charge 4 no and account 4 no or say felling trees in a forest reserve without written authority. Akunta Mining Company Limited is said to have felled more than 300 merchantable trees and several saplings in the forest reserve, contrary to Section 1 Clause 1 of the Forest Protection Act 1974, as amended by Act 624. In the say, sa particular forest reserve no a war Samra Boy no Akunta Mining omukoye and not say omukọ say omukọ akoye den omuku too good and omutu try say ndua ni nyina ebi ebra ye mom authorization and I am mom permission so monye and also forest reserve no ade a ye na ade ato ho se na be at the end of the day ye nchimba ene womo at the end of the day no in chimba any future, to protect our future and other things. Because of that, these kind of trees need to are endangered trees are protected, for medicine and for research. But Chema Untumi koya no could try. It's if we are sorry for this, but Chema charge 4 no. I will say really charge 4 now, and charge 3 no. But you really charge 4 no. You ain't charge count 3 no. Or say undertaking a mining operation without a license. The company's general manager Edward Akuoku and operations manager Kojo Owusu Bempa alias Sly at large are also accused of operating unlawfully within the reserve. In Tiapa said Chema Untumi all this time the mining operation no need license. And now one now omoye operations manager Ifeba Kojo Owusu Bempa a friend aka Sly. And guy named Sly and baako so no menoka so munyina no baako so friend Edward Akuoku omunyo mudwane sisi ano ye pa mo action because jumana no mudi no omuni permission yen san so ento aso ne yen to aso with count 5 ne yen hwe count 5 no sobo a omude bom Chema Untumi or say count 5 ne abatement of unauthorized felling of trees Untumi and three others are allegedly to have aided the unlawful felling of trees in breach of the Forest Protection Act and Section 20 Clause 1 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960. It's a part say Chema Untumi count 5 no and say time or could you try in Diano say unlawful no need to me so also yes sir and or yes sir no also the entrance with count 6 no near share soboa or mode bought Chema Untumi. That's the last count or mode bono or say count 6 erecting buildings in a forest reserve without written authority. Akunta Mining Company Limited is further accused of constructing buildings and other structures within the forest reserve without prior approval, contrary to Section 1 Clause B as amended. The party said Chema Untumi, aside from all of these things are not all Okoswa no akosi a dan e wo forest ni means say the nti akosi dan no o si because of your friend is saying bia wo mo mind bibi o mbeda na bibi sai pa say we see a whole lot of building ebra na oni permit to mu twetwe ndua no mo mind ni wi a omo wi no masan sisi omo san so sisi building. So these are the charges of what they bought Chairman to me at the end of the day. No, they are using this particular charges to make sure that Chairman to me will have his day in court. And ultimately, say be jailing based on all of these things. Be jailing. We are also reminding you that we are live on this particular platform. It's so per se ibia or comment and ask per se ibia or share our drain based on in sema yeka one sema. You can also drop in your comments and at the end of the day, what you think about all these things I can once. Do you think such a to me charges they are born? Do you think it's going to hold water? Me who social media no because the charges with you. I know yet didn't cry, but then regardless, the more parties clearly which hands because all other people are your friends such a to me or moka or mohono. Sanko for you know me driving to me pe and so far no it's much I could see the irony here to say sema pa. But then moving on to this same Chama to me issue no. Menu ka say Chama to me camp. Na swan no other camp is also believing say whatever is happening no a right thing. Which camp now? See no ono so abe react the Bawumia camp. According to Bawumia spokesperson communicator Dennis Kwabena Agyapong say Bawumia and together with his team they are happy that Chama to me has been sent to court. According to them, no party said they believe that Chama to me at the end of this particular court, he will be exonerated. Inteno de Sisiani de Subwabono no onkonunko proving innocent, and they believe at the end of the day, he will come out victorious. Now this came as a shock to a lot of people because Okasa you are happy say it's in court, people never understood. But then Dennis Kwabena was explaining that he's happy because at the end of the day, they believe say this particular charge say they are bought Chema to mean he will be exonerated, which means say at the end of the day, Yebeka said who song Yanko teen somebody to join back a better one.
Glad that finally Chema to me is having his day in court. For me, I think that is how we should run our society. That anybody we find foul against the law, we should take the person to the court. Let the person go through the court system before we try to drag the person. You understand? And so Chama to me has a responsibility to prove to the entire country that he is not engaged in Galamsey. Because Akonta mining, as we all know, is a lie. Is he engaged in Galamsey? Let the court determine that. But once again, Chama to me's prosecution and persecution actually brings up a very important point. That is, for the entire period the NDC were in opposition, they created an impression. You see, I don't know why the NDC, they keep boxing themselves into corners where nobody has asked them to. They have always created an impression as if Chema to me is the one doing Galamsey. So today, as Chema to me is in court, do you know what the expectation of Ghanaians are? We shouldn't see Galamsey going on. If Galamsey is going on, who is the other campaign? Who are they? Who are the other campaigns? Who are the other people? Why are they not in court with Chema to me? Your cameras have captured the NDC chairman in Upper Denchira East fighting military men, plainly doing Galamsey. Why is he not in court? The Awin Traditional Council has written a petition to the president about the NDC MP for Awin. Why is he not in court with Chema to me? But Wanda made a very important point that I want to highlight. Maybe when you finish, you cut us off for him as government view. For the people to hear that Wanda made a point, and that is the thinking of the NDC, that, well, even if our people are mining, it's okay. We are in government. When we leave and you also come, you also have the right to prosecute them. You understand what I'm saying? No problem. That's a fair point. But the people are the ones who suffer. Because today, NPP is not in power. Who are those doing Galamsey? Because I say arrest them all. I say put them behind bars. But why are they? In 9 months, you have actually, in your view, allegedly gotten one kingpin. And yet we are the Galamsey tripling in terms of its devastating effect. Who are the people? Because you said that once MPP is voted out of power, and the government communication minister said it, once MPP is voted out of power, Galamsey would end.
So that was Dennis Kwabena in some of these tweets. He was asking a very important question. So, no problem. Why is Galamsey still going? Because for the past 9 months, he beat Makasa Contamine, company, it has almost been grounded to the halt, about a standstill. So at the end of the day, you could see clearly say if Chairman to me was doing galamsey pa no saying you kruma kawade say galamsey a two trap, but still galamsey is still prevalent, it's still going on. Who tells you say indeed no, there are people behind this particular behind or more galamsey ni bi, or even they are even doing it more or worse than allegedly the Chairman to me regardless no Chairman to me the lawyer Edin Simbi Ababetuja according to the lawyer no, you know, bail application Chairman to me is too exorbitant. How can you give Chairman to, because first no you see here 50 million, here 100 million, the man 50 million, here the bar 25%, then and you do another 10 million na bon nanu ya chini ye jani ya sama na 1 million after the asan chini bi ma 10 million oku face can we hefa said you World Bank komu nye say scan yenko tin say my lawyer need to edit to joy by beto aso
so condition for bail no exercise here judicious need say SSA are available to all ordinary Ghanaians. Now, because is a minimum share, you move money and the 10 million cities. And you say, what we have no case. The Duaco court may see amount bail based on the all rights. Now, I say bail to 10 million for property, 10 million. That's why. How many of us will not go to jail? It's a radio we are. Yet a bride, the any share the public back person. Because you are not a president. And in Ghana for necessary custody as a discretion of the back court. Necessary exercise judicious. And yes, I better baby no. Not bail no grantee a meaningless. Yes, Anna and Brother until the bail granted. The person who has applied for it access to the grant of the bail, bet me a man the necessary freedom not with him. And let us not forget, say, at the point I apply for bail, charges be a allegation, here prove, and sana I ignore. Let's say the condition is so stringent, say, to me emphasis. To me meeting, Nenunti, that's so about someone. Next, say, yesterday, for before you are even pronounced guilty. And no, dear, I say, Ghana for the count was now, say, judicial system, also, I could say, Ghana for a question, the veracity of the discretion, now, the judicial system, also. For the baby, who say you standard be a measure ubia, and he said average standard there 10 million and 15 million Ghanaian cedi. The Chinese say you do be jina court to anwa. Na se nipa no obo kwa do no kra de o kan nya no kra a yenti bi improve ya. Na say you take away our right to freedom.
So that was in Sema Chairman to be the lawyer Eddie Tuja, and at the end of the day, or patches say was making sure say Chairman to be no, it's a media for you can see a can use Chairman to me is allegedly involved in these things. He's not guilty yet because Chairman to me is still going to have his day in court, and definitely there are questions. Manful Bisa say, how strong are these things? What is the motive? NDC for yes, are they doing it because they want Chairman to me to be jailed because say you are a political opponent, and answer or because they have a good probable cause. And the fact that I say what NDC for Biswa, they are also actively engaged in galamsey, you know, that begs the question as to whether these actions or inactions of NDC, you know, whether it's going to help, because what Chairman to me I say you to some people why? Because galamsey will still go on. Ghanaians want you to stop galamsey. They don't care about what goes on. Just stop galamsey. They are cannot there now AC. So that is some argument a bit more making in regards with that particular issue. Now let's move on. Minuka say Reverend Owusu Bempah last week he made a certain pronouncement. Now sorry say Kevin Taylor or Yobia or very sensible Nyankopon Shano, and also he fought a very good fight to make sure Sir John Dramani Mahama will come to power. And he also said among for so and Owusu Bempah also need NPP for munia pam biem and all parties and debi any pam, but in some amount for so me jan baby ka say Mahama on your president be must me trim and also debi or ka say Mahama on your president be on my bats. Say Mahama ABC. So Mahama did those things in Yankopon Edna power. Meno Kasi Apia Stadium is saying he holds a different opinion to what Reverend Owusu Bempah is saying. And according to him, Owusu Bempah no wo hono or a mutrumu or a chameleon or a snitch. In fact, this is something else. Yanko teen somebody to joy bar to us.
O person mo dia die free president Mahama ho pa support bi o support to no. Na president Mahama na body team person you be Ghana no gidi dia. Come frustrated. Come frustrated. Me be wurai. Me am nua ba fie so se call me say apia ade na jegezi enya yi na manko.
Afa munti hani yo na jegezi ye na o
Answer me the man say otibi kan oni party na wo say o manko no nkomo mu di dem woni mpelifo woni papa president Mahama woni na Agyapong woni seriketi de jureze bramo waka nkomo no mu die ni bia de nti o Mahama ache wa fie so asega hwe no fa kamera nso so me DNDC fo atem na ne kure no omo de sie ni ye ti omu no mu twa nto kire ye ade na so tibi ka kire mi gibi di say so fo Owusu Bempah se ma bin kane Professor Hindu Isa ye ba Bempah sambi bo no je to si obetwa di peti na ye yam hihie ni suru omu ye se so ba bi ampare sai no kada ya azan openi ye ti kroma Castro ti me ko danzu ma yira ye nya sofo ba akoko ga enti ni hu na amaye ana mu di hu atu ye so na sofo Owusu Bempah se wonu na yi Ghana mampani abrada de na ye na kina ko police station akobon hankop no ya me ya nkire no
tie ko na odi ni yo mezi Apia Stadium wo se mo ye ga am ko gina tam se ko mechew Owusu Bempah boys no we da me dem mo medi Apia tem no afu no be cancel mu ni papa na kuma na ye de class na wanti was no mo be se mu chinchin Mahama nsa ambota mo ya na mo jibi bi fi Mahama nsem na nkom hye na mo hyero o mo ana ka kyerem na mo de akɔhye nkom obeka ni nyina wa hagisi ya eza adina nya spiritual we physical information a mo de hye nkom Apia na eka we mo kwa Apia nya miu mo kwa Apia ho titi
e de o kasa o openi me no mu nyina ye fan but to be honest ye tu fa gidi ma o ni yenyi asem na kasa ye kojina me ko mota out of Paul free Paul ko yense kyerɛ ni wo Paul osofo Paul o me ka say ye pa say ba asema me kan agi obi nko anya wo no amakwan ne o producer NSMA ko bi nte asema me say papa ye beboa no onam so no nya opani ko hu nsankyene wo Yesu Kristo ba bi wo ye nsankyene a na uti asem ko gya de ne se metimi tran mo be ka kyerɛ me say president Mahama NDC be we ni jureze brana aseri ketia ana Alina Drusu ana say ko poku be we ni election Abraham ya metie san kofu emu bia papa manu a me kwhye won atade godua machi enu na say tibi mo a me ma me hu say erikopo kituo wa frame say apia ho to say eseri ketia to wa frame jureze brana frame etisani e ma na me ko gira ba bi na say me ko kan say me no kuro do say ampa president Mahama obedi na de wo ye we no bo beti ma ye de omo kan nyina so fo mo tie fi o mo de hye nkom nyame
Tomati di omo kan nyina asofo ne freye agifiri ye ho no mo de ko hye nkom me mo kokum ntoko enya me na me fix fight you me fix fight bia Apia Stadium na ekasa na me de brem iza mo pentoko papa ko Apia na no aso sisi e munim na mo ko plan ya chimutum ya ha de nya ma asem bo se nkom sha mo se nyina mo frɛ no no maka cha mo de akɔhye me ka wo ha de bia se nkɔfo no spirit nkan hwe information on the shenkom and the Apia na assign me to we Apia minim ho hwe of Apia na assign me to into Apia
say so fu tiri ka je say openi president mama ba eni na hia oni bi ya to aba oka che be say obeye we wa anya di e wanya maame bo mo so de bufuo no gina the radio the TV mo de bo president mama mfe. I'm not mentioning the name but no kwese yesi ade gudie wo soro pa na sofu timi tete president mama abra openi se be kase ni jemu measures bi egu ha measures be na we men ka pa we sia so dem da openi yeji na wo nima amafo nima enye be egu bi yem ni nya na meka je se be e de na wo be ka me case bia say yezu ni ozusu be mpanku asofo no mo hye nkom no omunti me tell you asofo be gira ho ofiti ana me ba ye me kura be nya sofo mama quotation no dem ofiti ana mo to kom hye boy no wo kan se me and someone to adam kayemu opening.
So that is the issue. Of course, I could see say Apia Stadium is having his own issues with Reverend Owusu Bempah together with Nigel Gazia ni papa ni mamius ni papa we kra wanko. Na etiefo ene bibi ko so. Oyo obi out Spain first ana East Legon sia onam ho na obi etikebu hwim ni abeji phone. Phone on target iPhone, iPad. Now you see, there's a saying say 99 days for the thief, 1 day for the master. Video kwa kushi ebra abranti bi or tinike mu Toyota RAV4 so and or GOB iPad. O jane no o make ye curve no. Nyankopon empe bone. Nyankopon ompe bone. And I say car echo ball your friend is saying obi dan mu at the end of the day itimi chi nipa. You share this particular video back here better.
Where's the phone? Not one. Bring all. Bring all.
What's on the inside?
You should bring all the phones. All the phones you have in the car. Bring everything. We can't use this. Where's the phone? Come on, come on. What's the phone?
And then immediately I stole the last one. And in the pen. And they were coming to me. Too long. If you see how this man goes. It was the trio. Yes. And he went at the back. He will die by now. Some of them are lost.
Therefore, so that is exactly what really happened. I just say you'll be shocked. But I think it's a video, no. I don't know if that is the whole part, because there was a part I think will be back when any panel in same. So basically, send an air cano, sand see any panel. It just say, or you be on a number is ligon ho. Or why near Bibia Funia Bishim from if you win sim. And at the end of the day, no, yeah. So on this particular instance, no, at the end of the day, no. I just say, oh, yeah, no, and it is a car now or Timo di Jano. You say brake failure, say sharp curve na we hua, and at the end of the day, or the ball will be there more. I just say, yes, so the music che. As I say, so clearly, no, share video near showing out to at the point in time, crying to say, yeah, papa na, yeah, che, no, what really happened was, I just say, now, you could see from the video, say, Nakabi Edinichi. So he was being chased by another car, and ultimately, no way is here. The safety concerns, of course, were easily going on. It is raising a lot of questions because you see, no chronic and the people who are actually doing this, no, they are people who are just they look very presentable, but then in reality, no, people, they are doing all of these things at the end of the day to enrich themselves. So that is the information. If he sprinters and also East Legon or TikTok by now, you should be able to see this particular video. Everyone is really talking about it. So that is the whole issue. So once again we are live into no so person do comment about. You can please bring your comment a bit with the amount because we have quite a lot of issues to discuss today right here on this particular platform in regards with what is really going on and the whole issue in regards to current happenings at Ekoso Ghana. Now straight up, you moving on to the camp of Kennedy Agyapong and Bawumia. We all know Sir Osei Mensah Bonsu, who happens to be the former majority leader of parliament. He is definitely with the camp of Bawumia, and also Kwesi Kwarteng, who is also an NPP member, is in the camp of Kennedy. Now recently, Osei Mensah Bonsu or the Nsimbi Ekotuja suggesting say Bawumia is the best fit candidate for to lead the new patriotic party. Also, no share your life tightly the two video we asked and say Kwabena Agyapong has been disqualified, which we played video confirming say on team to us have 4 million Ghana cedis and into an aid in a disqualification but then we'll come back to that. So Minuka say Kwesi Kwarteng abe reply your friend is saying in summer or say Mensah Bonsu aka say because Bawumia popular no NPP Flagbearer try by all means to make sure say they will place him on the ballot. And Kwesi Kwarteng party said this particular argument if the camp of Osei Mensah Bonsu stamped by Bawumia no enya dia very legitimate. Yenko share in summer Kwesi Kwarteng edit to when we come back we have a breaking news about Ndra insu etoye ewu krum ha say asensu na etoye no. I can tell you for a fact say a giant kofu bri areho ama the question is iti ekroma de bi ebetna sa from 1957 de bi nso to a fan krofo and up to now we have not been able to do anything as a nation. But before then no yen hwe video we ye babaka ye beto aso
say be unfair say yenya sremni famanusiye na wa baba ko ne ebeka say yi na si nchen na ye de akani aba because I drew and then a baby drew doctor say a be unfair say yenya sremni famanusiye na wa baba ko ne ebeka say yi na si nchen na ye de akani aba because akani de work by em premier nu mampanyi na nado by em premier nu nti then a be drew and then a baby bedru Dr. Alhaji Mahmood Bawumia so a yebeka so akoba kwanye yi a yemfa no ensi enchen issue ne ye akani sremni ana awunani ana bununi ana issue ne ye den Kwesi Kwarteng
mono no kure se sa asem no se nye video na mehwe ya ka min yindisa nda se honorable Osei Mensah Bonsu na ye de e kan won se ono no ebuo kwan so no ba bia me de no toto no I was so proud. Or a party penny pa. In sending it smacks divisive comments. Not to men's words. And sending big or high, and sema a ding cabomia de eba, a den papa moon, and titimuni in papa moon eba. In ordinarily, you would have expected, say, and go bukranka, no munya day. And China dreams says, I same way, and the yanka. Bonomamuso asemo. Last election, say a coin. Na can phone you one daughter about me, a try by the Herman. I said, one more quiet crime, and I say, dear, it's almost criminal to be an account. Hey, no one, yes, sir. Last election, a quiet, not come for who. And not yin I bo mukotra by the Emma daughter about me because I that breno, near whom say, only bit me departing and my ediaco. But Bono, Master Man walk on with same way when there 8 hour. Master Man walking in and say, party no. In here, Ubia, obetimi, a winnable candidate. Can the four betty say Akuyana de Amae? Somebody who can win 2028 for us. We need a winnable candidate. We don't need a candidate because of his ethnicity. You hear winnable candidates and not necessarily an account candidate. What I say? Indeed, no money be why I didn't papa munin jimu ba.
And from when you are coming, would any can say
no, you hear winnable candidate. No, may say last elections, no, last elections, no, not come for no near 12 marks ceremony. Oh, say NPP say only about a ceremony account for some. We are not fighting. We are not competing for anything. Or money a ceremony dear so. So the answer now say you can anytime be no we use it as a weapon near the incite one people against the other no. Nya dear who here the here. Say see our cast a can be here a ceremony. Indirectly that's what he say, you know. Nkofo so aka bono nkofo so aka say e bia ceremony everywhere. What is another same ni ba be a Ghana for nyede enyin ntu bi now no yante say bright champion starting the camp mo ka say a chimney nyede ema enti wo kaka saa na nkofo eso kode the sansensem ni yiwa no a ene na ma saa politics of division ne tribal ethnic policy ni yede eba enti we dey ese no sebio o say chairman sabon so wo ye panimu adwobro ye say ne say divisive comments no any remarks onyai eye de eka. NPP is more interested in getting a winnable candidate. Dr. Bawumia is saying bono yenka say Dr. Bawumia because he's a be an ordinary. No. We are saying say the performance the track record of the course election ye de could be a MWA party no. Maybe a party ni MWA won't mean you to mean the MIA. We just want a strong candidate, not an account candidate. We want a strong candidate, not a northern candidate. We don't care maybe any party the free. All we need is say nipa kwa de rebano or the mo do betima de.
So that was a Kwesi Kwarteng from the Kwabena Agyapong camp. Meanwhile, Nano in Suto, I think say in that and in the day in Suto pa. Now you know this issue. No, ya can't. Maybe see a crab be a tradition. Say every year BAC. But then so to in fact, not a bimunti being call. And obviously, why near bonus for John Dramani Mama? You should video it for your bar a bit to us.
Hey, asemo. W na me pacho. Me nyama ya kofi okra na ka me nya fie bi mu ahwe
me pa to hwe yampo wo dia eno na ben ya because aha no ntime ntira enti wo dia hwe ha ewura fie ni nyira mu wo pa gina ha hwe gate ya no nyira won se de obi aye ni gate ya no ada ya te hefa wo pa ba so fie ya wo wura mu na pare ni kodi se nyira fie wo ho nyira wura obi ya fie ewura anko obi dem a ewura ni fie nyira onya ba bia amfa enko ba bia
hey we dey ano wadin ena dabi o me pacho enti sesi ano bola na egum no nso no na me dwen ho a menti ase
bola ni dia every baby ni nyina ya se every bayi bush nim maranatha bush nim ani roman bush nim ni nyina beba be fa ya hanom na beguwa uwi a wo dem afọ no uwi so asa abo ano washi and what's up bola man what's a chia the camera na be
bola ni nyina san kwa dem
bola ni nyina akwadam ni akache ni na kwa dem ho well so say the force ade by anya sabo wow bola ni nyina be ko dem ho ansa na wasisa na wasa to bola ka osha eho nyina yire anya na asamo ya ko ni afina di mo ya be sha ni nyina obi anzie
Hey.
Yes. Ya kasa ya ho adiesa. Ya kasa kaya yo minyama me de ba esipanti. Ena mi gina ho. Enti mo sa wo twan ya akwa pe mi sa be twan. Na wo di ni ho nso a wa akwa
It's here for in summer a war no I say you could see say this whole issue of say at the end of the day no you be share na say issues a war in suni ade ya can me see put it for ya bre and now the people are saying say so boy bi wo ho a you beat me and can fan boy His Excellency John Dramani Mahama because you see I know everything is your fault unfortunately you be papa. Nature say you have a responsibility to make sure say bibia ekoso you solve it. And honestly, it's not just here and so tumpe. This issue it threats and it goes everywhere. We're seeing it time and time again. So sema yanka say you need and then maybe especially on social media on TikTok, they've been complaining a lot, and you could see say this time around they are more. So they want something to be done. Bibi Eduno in Grace Ash's voice. Ajise Mahama ubim and Enyame and also ubim. Ajise Mahama His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Ajise ubim. Once again, we are live. It's in the if you are watching us now, person will comment. You can feel free. And also bring in your comments. Now at the end of the day, exactly your friend is saying what you think about all of these issues are air course. So now straight up twice moving on to the issue of Elikem Kotoko, who happens to be the Forest Commission Deputy CEO. Menuka saw the Insimbia Wako to just say some 48 hours before a betty chairman to me friend. Now according to him, a trap na chema untumi set a man because social na chema untumi opese ye de eche na be chi na charges na ye de abono no onka ho nsema na se onye bibi emfa ho etifo don't take my words for it yenkoti eye nsema Elikem Kotoko, Edituja Amanfo Air Party said, if this is true, then Chema to me, Sebio, him say we Dibonia, at the end of the Bona we do know, or him say he at the end of the day you're finding the guilty and asobe she pa. It's Yenkoti in some Elikem Kotoko, Edituja, say Babaka, we will give you more updates based on this particular news air course in regards to Chema to me's arrest.
My attention has just been drawn to something interesting you said. You say that Galamsey kingpins bind recruits with blood oaths to keep them silent.
Yes, people. You know, there's a whole myth around Galamsey that it's spiritual. It grows over time. There are sacrifices to be made and all that. So they make these people sign on with some blood covenants and other forms of covenants and blood. And all that. That you don't disclose this, you don't do this, you don't do that. So we are using technology to even trace some of that. It's also another major hurdle we are facing. But we are trying, I can say this publicly, it is just to not deter them, but to hold them if they can. Because we are tracking some of them. That is why some of them may think that I'm still doing it and they are not doing anything. We are monitoring you. We want to know who the actual kingpins are. And I am convinced that one of the kingpins that is being prosecuted now is none other than the regional Ashanti regional chairman of the NPP.
Those are allegations.
I know, but I mean, I work at the Forestry Commission. I recall I visited Summer Boy and a concession given to him, and we are all aware that he didn't get all the needed permits. That is evident and is there. At the time, even the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources came to confirm same, to corroborate same. Then the president came out to say that he is aware that Akonta mining is not engaged in any illegality. That was how he was prepared to put his presidency on the line. And very laughable though. But we all saw videos of Wontumi, for instance, displaying gold at the radio stations, bars of gold taken out from his bar. Are you okay with one? He brings out a second one. He brings out a third one. He brings out a fourth one. And we all know what happened at the Tiwa Forest and all of that. But we leave it all to the law now since the process has been kicked in motion. And one major kingpin like that has a lot of tributaries.
You still call him a major kingpin?
Yes, I am. That is
when you don't have the full fact.
That was the same allegation at the time he was arrested, and it still stands until proven otherwise. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. And I've said this on 2 platforms. I can say it here again now to repeat it. I recall when we carried out that exercise in Summerboy. One of the days I was driving and I had gotten to the Akwaje interchange. Then a call came through. I pulled over and he was like, "Hello, Elikam. This is Chairman Wontumi."
Chairman Wontumi called you?
I'm just telling you what happened. Then he said, "This is Chairman Wontumi." He said it a second or a third time. And I kept saying, yeah. Now, Elika, I don't know. Elika, now, that's how we boss madam for. I don't know. Elika, Dabena, Obenya Tana, Ebetumi, Dabena, Obeba Kumasi. I have nothing doing in Kumasi at that time. I'm not going there.
What, he was trying to silence you?
I don't know, but he was reaching out to me for the first time. And I didn't even know him. I don't know what for. Then he was saying, what I put it right out there as well too. He's going to ask his lawyers to do so. And I told him point blank, your lawyers trying to do so for you will just be taking money for a job that you need to do for you. But whatever you want to do, you need to read carefully what I wrote. So yeah, I know of this. For the first time, he reached out to me also. I don't know what for. And this whole. It's a whole cartel. It's deadly, it's dangerous, but we must stand up for something or we'll fall for anything.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Now, just how soon do you expect us to see tangible results?
I believe that for the tangibility of the results, a year from now, we'll see very tangible results. Very tangible results. But I am so sure that the moment we enter next year, knowing very well what NIMOS intends doing, by dismantling all the people who are engaged in these activities on our water bodies in particular, we'll see a recovery of our waters turning blue and our forests beginning to turn green. And you see, one of the major challenges that Forestry Commission was confronted with was not even illegal mining. It used to be illegal logging.
Right.
Until when Galamsey became
we'll talk
pervasive.
about that before we end
and as we speak today, Ghana is the only country in Africa to have signed on to an EU trade partnership known as the FLECT, forest law enforcement and governance trade, which means that we are European. We are legally now mandated
forest law and enforcement and
forest law enforcement and governance trade, which means that we are legally given the green light to trade in timber with the European Union. And we are the second in the world to Indonesia. And so what this means is that every tree that is felled from Ghana that is being shipped to the European Union can be traced to where exactly it was cut from. The reason is because, to curb illegality, to also make sure it is well regulated, and our traditional authorities are paid what is due them in royalties. Further, you see these...
So that is exactly what the last part of what he says. Chama want to me called him. I brought a review of Facebook. Say, they'll be going so after contaminate and yada. But then in all of these things, there are two major issues at air course: the issue of Chama want to me and the issue of NPP Flagbearership race. Me no can say an argument has been made. So argument here I am making. I'm going to say. Entire 45.7% of the account population, they cannot win an election with an MPP candidate or and this of course also went on room to me station. Yenkuti sema analytical person or the two driver ebetwaso.
Ohene, mi wo mi gidie. Yeah. Mi gidie enche se me bobre ensi brane. Ohene oba oman mu ayewa. I would want to rely on the 2021 population enhancement census. When we were trying to transition from 2008 elections into 2028, go to 2018. His Excellency John Agyapong Disqualified na nkadema na nadu dam kwakufado na ameboa. Yeah. His Excellency John Agyapong Disqualified no ye Christoni. Na nadu no ye Christoni. His Excellency John Agyapong Disqualified no ya Akani Asantini. Na nadu no ya Chimini Akani. Ohene, I can forward house population and housing census in 2021. I see a dudu nyina about 45.7%. 45.7% a woman in account for. You can't account for Asante count, Bono count, Sefi count, Fanti count, Guafo count, Muniati, Yenina Chim, a group, Yenina, Kofu in account. And Tisabi. See, if I say I can phone Kwan, because you better my account candidate in Kwan, would the person cross the 50+1? No. Or better cross the 50+1? No. Secondly, well, population and housing census cinema, you see a Christopher a womb, a year or high enchemu a drosson back 71%. Enjoy him. Thank you. Quite election, I say a Christopher, but to my Christoni, a Christopher, pet. Some fufu bia na Christo ni badia o senke Christopher nyina atomano. When in the last about 1 2 3 almost about 8 or 9 or 10 elections ayakwa yet me across the mark of 60%. A candidate to across the Memphis Lawrence in Kaho 1992 di Kaho
to say soon then I will to because any kind of cross 60%
nearing Mampani Kufu nya kese panu nya 56.9 no Christoni no ya kani the entire me come here atwe adwene siso ne say our party, even if you read the constitution, you say a national party Obama ye musa baby free ye card the mount. So collectively see any for who we are and who we brought into this party. Edia, minya, a bedroom maybe no. Afo so kambu no kan say omonto do so sene wo a. Nti adodo fo we mu nyina so se mempene manye wo a. Ohine be yode. But the true nipa na dwumadi a oye boade a ye som waka. Let me ask you, prior to the 2016 elections, when he was doing the lectures with your anchorhood, Pentecost University, Wisconsin University, when he was walking the length and breadth of this country, na okasa no no okasa mane ho no okasa mane ho man kasa man okasa ma aban no kasa ma party ni form government. That time we did not know say na ofri biaye we or some biaye we, and now we gave him the platform to speak and he spoke for this party. Mini awuti ni wan kasa mane ho onim
with all you to hey, the incoming first lady, Samira Bawumia. Oyene. Now we're saying you mountain platform with I'm saying this because on him. Semetia sembi feni panwa. Eya me de me ho. Ejina ho sesi e kan bi kire me a.
Okay, it's here for you to also with this same Chema to me issue. Me no can say, you know, we all know that Chema to me is currently in jail because he is still yet to meet the 10 million Ghana cedis bail conditioner But then the funny thing in all of these particular things is the workers, no, first our workers call some of the workers have also started going there to cry. Now, this particular video and share babaka, there is a new update about the bebremo.
Court to say while mining water non numeric forest. What you say? It's a nusuntino ni bail 10 million, which is 100 billion. Now where the baba for or how we in goodness so. Chama won't to only kun Yesu Christo. Roma sra for no mukun Yesu Christo no cram for we nyame bad. Yet these are conditions we at almost one. What you say? And you know, and yet easy. Whatever is going on, it is not easy. Or you nipa. You can see from his face, he said he's going through a lot, which it says idea. Yes, but he said a bekoso. Which I say because Ajuma all year ede finding a source of living. You know, Obisusu yebi, eye Ibrahim Mahama or yebi. About a month ago, you who saw my bo party or moto party che champagne, you two champagne wo. Adaya ye the black voter. Edi ama Ibrahim Mahama so nkotu code wo black voter no me pa cho mu amugina he black voter mountain afajato black voter de enye nsuo enti nsuo bi chen nsuo bi echen nsuo bi siesi ye jai nsuo ho agudi a ahe den ne satimi de black voter no so ma obi se ohono de onkotu hu nsuo onkotu hu e former agudi. Eti akoye se eyo time bi ena yede time chema untumi na mamenka.
Now, based on his same way, Chema to me in the worker back no ena a friend Rusmon Obin who happened to be a presidential staffer with the National Democratic Congress NDC communications team. And Wabeka say man for patches this could just blew the alarm say Chema to me's case is just basically a witch hunt. Also, to me was so powerful as a party donor during the NPP era that former Lands Minister Abujinapo almost lost his job for investigating his involvement in Galamsey. Into a party said Chema to me, all these things are not a question about Oye Galamsey near the then your friend is saying Minister of Lands Abujinapo who say Galamsey you cost me investigating Chema to me na mean to me who say Ibi a Galamsey or ye be now or ye be near Chema to me no order from above. Or call na after that Abujinapo and call loose juma. Now far from that, no party said it was because Chema Wuntumi was donating big to the party. Galamsey no Otua so we $10 million a move 5 call NPP chain so one wine and Abeka self from 4 na se call. We no crefiwa. This same Rusmon or being or something to just say NPP was issuing mining licenses like candy and they have the audacity to say Galamsey is western under NDC. So to head how NDC, how the New Patriotic Party then, how they were issuing licenses you could see clearly say they were just doing it boom 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 the OG could to go now fancy support the party near the amount and now these same people are coming out to say Galamsey is now being worse and now Galamsey is now worse under the tenor of the National Democratic Congress. I think for you question this particular video of when Chema Wuntumi again was faced to court
don't move stay where you are, don't block anybody's view. Give way.
Tem masa yang masuk. And like why you don't make the class?
Okay, guys. Bye bye.
Alright. Okay, I'll be his office is best here, so.
Therefore, so that was a year in summer air course with a year chairman whom to me you could see say as it is now papa no na so she pa maybe or done enye, and we are learning up until now no he's still not been able to meet the bill requirements here the man and the bill requirements here the man see kind of to join it is a year 10 million Ghana cedis, so he's still yet to actually officially made it because at the end of the day untimi meet here in Jano, and this issue no in fact I is so sad. Now we are also learning such a want to means a year whole issue I course in trial no na courts no trial no it will move on exponential and very fast because among person be delay at the end of the day such a want to me guilty you be jailing or you guilty in jailing no say you be just keep anything at the end of the day. That is exactly what will be done. So same be brain at the end of the day no, we are looking for it to see what will really happen here in regards to Chema want to be therefore Babaka, Minoka say the NSS, okay, they have begin the military training. Okay, they begin the military training a year for personnel. So I say a year now a year President John Dramani Mahama or the same ebe two just say or the same ebe two just say NSS personnels omo beko Yen no university or more national services anko for nyeri true military training. Menoka say no, we are learning say this particular whole military drill no it is about to start, and I say I start here. Menoka say no one update right here on this particular platform. Just people have already started reacting to this. You could see clearly say it is one thing that just will be very soon no, we will be watching some videos of in sema NSS personnel or more boss any or more director in some of the other tuja more part say if you move sir in semi can so you be training NSS personnel it's just going to be one thing. So okay matching time they'll train them in tactical weapons. Since at the end of the day, you know, they'll be able to hold weapons, they'll be able to assemble weapons. In fact, a ban war now they will be able to go and NPP this are updates in Bebrel right here on this particular platform. Once again, you want to me video near Babaka, we're moving straight into the military training for our NSS personnel.
Don't move. Stay where you are. Don't block anybody's view. Give way.
It's here for Yen Shas here with this particular update. We gave you an update, say His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, or the one of the campaign messages, and they say he is going to train university or more back or more into the workforce. And you say university, you have to do your national service. I also did my national service when I finished the university, so mandatory. But then looking at the gross indiscipline, so and I am many be our TikTok. Challenges near that it is okay, but then discipline in Emma at the end of the day, university now, even at the workforce ground, they are not able to execute their work very effectively. Because of that, John Dramani Mahama Eka said, university, all of them were subjected to military training, and honestly, I applauded this. Minoka say, a year the NSS, a year CEO, your friend, a year Madame Ruth Della Sedon or the Ababe Tuja say, science seminar Mudibe Tujano, a idea air Koswa, it is coming on in full force. Now, let us put this on the screens because just recently, this particular Nipa and Yemamiya Yekana Semi, she met with some military personnel about this same issue. Just on impenifobic creature picture, and then and a press conference say, indeed, military training now Okan one seminar, it is about to happen. Into a picture, yeah, was screens no so that is a Madame NSS board Madame Ruth Della Sedo or no ena or team finfina or ni military personnel or my also all that they have to do is just begin to assume the people are so far no one more assume or mono they will be taking through military training now way back in April, or more in same way to Johnson and Madame Della or the Tuja or say National Service Authority to introduce military training in Accra or military training Accra, Ministry of Defense, Management of the National Service Authority. Today, Wednesday, April 23, 2025, held talks with the military high command towards the implementation of the SNSERRP. So basically, this was way back in April. I mean, no, say in October, no, the action has commenced. Madame Ruth Sedo or the Tuja Babaka.
Initially, we were contemplating that we're going to run the entire 10,000 cohorts at the same time. So we're going, and of course, we don't have enough military bases. So we're going to extend to the schools, the university campuses, or the teacher training institutions. But the military came back to tell us that they resisted that. They want them to have a proper feel of what it takes or what it looks like or what it feels to be in a military, be through a military training. Yes, so they advised that we divide it into 5,000 each. And so we are going to subject them to proper military training. Of course, it's the basics of it. So if, for example, a typical military man runs how many kilometers a day? Of course, let's say 20 kilometers. Of course, maybe they will do about 5 or so. It's not going to be the same, but of course, they have to go through every process that it is to know that yes, they've been through military training properly, so-called, and including handling of weapons. Yes, because we are saying that disaster management, right, and all of that. So typically, if you find yourself in an area where there are armed robbers and all those things, what do? You need to subject them to a training process where in the absence of police and all those people, they should be able to find a way to still, take the weapons from them and all those things. So yes, a little bit of combating and here and there, drills and all of that, we are all subject them to that. That is because at the end of the day, the end goal is discipline. We want to instill in them the sense of discipline. You cannot go and do something shoddy and expect that, they're going to get the results that we are looking for. So yes, it will be a bit extreme, but I can assure them that as a woman,
Indeed, that was the words of a year NSS boss in some of the other NSS boys here can say, a year Madame Ruth Della Sedo. Madame Ruth Della Sedo or part say a man for fusu ye kasi be subject or to military training and ye nkwala ye de be. It is a very serious thing ye bet show how to handle weapons, disaster management, ABA Ghana, your core war, ni bibia. Once you've passed through the system, you know how it works. Into bit my friend say go to the battlefield and face the enemy. And these are things that are more here. And according to her, the reason why they are doing this is because they want to instill discipline. And we should also note, say Ghana, you be shocked to know, say Ghana your military personnel just 18,000 people, and now we who said there are questions on social media among four parties. See and BSC per fan crofone. Can we further expand the age limit? One more maybe 30 and over, and they can go into the military. So these are questions because Ghana you have more military, a country of 30 million with 18,000 military personnel. It can't even fill half a stadium. How can we contain a civil unrest? These are big questions, sir. So at the end of the day, also say we don't have more military bases. Into military bases, idea on bay train your best subject to anyhow into they will do the pilot for the first 5,000 or 10,000, and at the end of the day, who says successive, they will extend it, and at the end of the day, they can assume a lot of NSS personnel. Fine, they can't take all the NSS personnel to military, but then they can subject a lot of them. So okay, you pass it through maybe 2 months, we are not and I'll pass it through 3 months, we are near post to I could be for. At the end of the day, all of this is to make sure say discipline will be what instilled in our youth. So that is exactly what is really going on. As an EDBC, we gave you an update the last time, say yet the Takwa in Suta railway line, so it was damaged by one more normal Galamsey. Minoka say, the minister, Akupi Mohwa, we all know this particular issue at air cost. So, Naman for Bisa say, Banisana Galamsey for or Mutimi to Muna SL railway line, sir. Minoka say, minister Akupi Mohwa, minister no Ebisa say, Inti Omoyan Obie Wana, minister Joseph Nelson, who happened to be the Ashanti region, the Western regional minister, and Obisa say, it's idea we like no one really saw it, and it's just a young one and yeah TikTok a young one sabe pepe young good teen sema a bro toho and a bro cohon and some of the two quick one yeah we need a babaka we have a year in some full frost at the better also is a year live updates.
I think that for the police you have to really make your monitoring devices even more sensitive. This didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen within 2 weeks. Certainly it didn't happen within just 1 month. It's been going on for a while. And so I think that your system for scanning the whole environment must.
So at the end of the day, that is what the Western Regional Minister the two just said. When you see destroy railway lines, and see happen here, and 1 day job. It took time. Okay, they were doing it. But obviously, it is either two things that the authorities did not see this coming, and answer we train air fast one. Let's say for aku keke. And therefore, this are live updating na ABC. We thank you so much for joining us. There are more updates as all of these various events to continue to unfold.